India's army chief is in the Himalayan region of Ladakh. His visit comes as tensions flare again with China over the disputed border. India has accused China of trying to take more territory. Chinese soldiers, backed up by military vehicles, are said to have moved close enough to engage Indian troops in verbal arguments. But there were no clashes. Beijing denies the claims. Both sides have held emergency talks, but no progress has been reported. The situation along the Himalayan border has been tense for months. In June, 20 Indian soldiers were killed after clashing with Chinese troops in the Galwan area. It's been described as the most serious incident in 50 years. Neha Punia joins us live now from New Delhi for more on this story. Neha, a show of strength from the Indian Army chief.
It definitely appears so, Steve. We saw a similar visit last time around after the clash in June as well. That time around, Prime Minister Modi visiting Ladakh and interacting with troops. It was labelled then as a morale-boosting visit, as well as one that was meant to send out a message to China. And we're seeing similar moves now being made by the Indian Army chief as well. This was an unscheduled visit. We only found out that he is in Ladakh after he landed there. And we're given to understand he's going to be there for 2 days. He might even visit forward areas. And the aim is to be briefed on the operations that took place earlier this week when there were 2 clashes in 48 hours with the PLA troops. He's also likely to take a stock of the preparedness of troops on the ground as well. India has rushed additional troops to the region and also given a message to soldiers posted along the 2,000-mile long border, asking them to be vigilant given that this border is now tense and active. Of course, the current situation on the border, like you described it, is tense. We're given to understand that troops from both sides are very close to each other. They're within firing range as well. And this might also be an attempt by India to flex its muscles, because Indian troops have now occupied several key strategic ridge lines in that region where this clash happened earlier this week. And this might be an aim to send the Chinese troops a message. Experts say that India is not willing to back down this time around, especially given that 3 rounds of talks have not led to any kind of de-escalation along the border.
And Neha, perhaps we can also draw a line between this bitter so-called showdown and the fallout in the tech sphere as India prepares to ban, 118 Chinese apps. Is India ready to face retaliation, potential retaliation from China?
The message clearly seems to be that, there was expectation that India would react by extending its limited economic boycott. We saw similar overtures being made back in June as well, with the message from India being that if China talks of peace along the border but doesn't act on its words, then India will go ahead and hurt the Chinese economy along these lines. So these 118 apps that have been banned, the aim seems to be similar as well. The Indian government has not spoken of China directly. It's talking of becoming self-reliant, talking about how these apps were stealing user data and sending them to servers outside India, how they were hurting India's security. But the message is very clear that this is linked to the latest confrontation that happened along the border. China, though, has criticized it, calling it a short-sighted move, also insinuating that India was perhaps acting under pressure that was put on New Delhi by Washington, D.C. Experts have outright rejected that claim here in New Delhi. We do know that the Trump administration is also talking of similar restrictions for Chinese tech firms. But India, experts say, has been talking of this much before, directly linking the current situation to what happened in June. The 2 countries have fought a war back in 1962 over border differences. The border has since remained largely calm, except for this year, where there have been 2 instances like these in 3 months. So the message clearly from India, experts say, is that there's a sense of fatigue, that if China is not willing to make good on its promise of regional stability, India will continue hurting Chinese tech firms that count on India as a massive market, given how popular these apps are in India.
As always, many thanks. Neha Punia is in New Delhi, bringing us up to date on those developments there.